In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your own Active Directory lab using Windows Server 2022. I'll be using VirtualBox, and I'll show you the whole setup process. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to Microsoft's website. They have a download page for all of these. You can either Google it, ChatGPT it, or you can even just copy this exact link right here. So I'm going to choose the English United States. Um, I have this downloaded already, but I just want to show you where this is. So you would just click it and you would download the ISO. And at that point, you wait for it to download. And once you have the ISO on your computer, you can use it in VirtualBox to set up the lab. So while that's downloading, we'll go to Oracle's VirtualBox page. This is virtualbox.org. You can also go to Oracle's company website and then download it from there. We can download it here, and that's sufficient. So for me, the um, I'll download the Windows hosts, and once that's done downloading, we'll go through the installation process for that. So what you're going to want to do once you have VirtualBox up, see this is the VirtualBox manager, and right here this is where you have machines. So home, you could potentially create a new one up here, or you can go to machines. I think maybe when you first install it, the machines might not even be there. I don't know. Either way, you're going to want to click on new, and you're going to want to name the virtual machine. So I'm going to name this one WinServe Lab 02. And just a pro tip too, when you're naming things, you want to have something that makes sense so that when you go back to it, you're like, what did I create? For me, I have WinServe Lab 01, and then this one I have WinServe Lab 02. I know for me, it's Windows Server, and it's a lab, and it's number 1. You could name it with something else, but I can figure out what I did. So just name it something that is easy for you. So once you get to that, you're going to hit new. So you're in the new virtual machine. I have the name. The VM folder is where you're going to save it. For me, I'm running out of space in my C drive, so I'm going to do it in my D drive, which is just another SSD I have. So you can see some of my other virtual labs. So I selected the D drive, and then you're going to want to select the ISO image. So it's going to be server eval x64 FRE. In VirtualBox, it automatically detects what operating system you have. So Windows Server 2022. Proceed with unattended installation is so you can basically install the ISO without clicking any buttons. I don't like that. I want to modify things the way that I want it to be. The unattended guests, so we're not doing anything there. So specifying virtual hardware is going to, I think usually it's good to put 8 gigs. You might even do a little more depending on how much hardware you have. I personally like 8 gigs because it's enough to where it's not painfully slow when you're using the VM. Unlike Linux servers or Linux machines, you can do a little less, but I still like to do a little more just because it can be slow. And then 4 CPUs is generally good too. For the server space, again, I like to go a little higher. 80 is good. I think, what was it? The minimum was like 50. You could probably type it out too, but I'm just being lazy. Okay, so use an existing virtual hard disk file. Don't need to worry about that. Create virtual machine without a virtual hard disk. Don't need to worry about that either. So you can click finish. So at that point, you're good to go. You can double click it and launch it. Something to note is when you install something on VirtualBox, it comes in this standard. I don't know what the frame is, but it comes in this visual, and you can install a guest edition, which will allow you to make it full screen and look normal. So at this point, we're just going to go through the installation process. So you can click next, install. So for the purposes of this lab, we're going to do standard evaluation desktop experience. And then you can just accept all of these requests. We're going to choose custom. We don't need to allocate space. And at this point, it's just going to install. So once it's done installing, it's going to restart. I'm going to restart it automatically. So at this point, we get to setting up a username and password. For now, it's administrator. We can change that later. So I will create a password. Also, something to note too, when you create a password, it does require you to make that password use special characters, numbers, uppercase, and all that. You won't be able to just use a simple password. So here we are at the splash screen. To get through here, so at this point, to get through the press control delete, you're going to want to hit the right control and delete, and that is the equivalent of control delete on VirtualBox. Then you'll type in your password that you created. And at this point, it's going to load the user profile. Answer yes to, do you want to allow your PC to be discoverable by other PCs on this network? If you're trying to use this lab to talk with other devices. So at this point, here is the server manager dashboard. You are able to manage a lot of the services that run on the server. Many tools that you can use. For our purposes, we're going to set up Active Directory. So for this lab, I'm going to rename the server. If any of you guys have worked in IT at all, you normally have to rename your computers so that it's some sort of standardized name that your company would use. Same thing for servers, and it's similar. This is the same pain that you would have if you're renaming the computer. So you're going to go into computer name domain changes and then write out the computer name. I'll name this lab 02. Click OK. And whenever you change the name of a device, you're going to have to restart the computer. So we will close this. It's going to ask to restart, and we'll restart it. So I just had an issue where after the reboot of renaming the server, the screen went black. and it just got stuck. So use the good old restart. All right, let's get back to it. So Control Delete again is the right control button and delete. Let's type in our password. And let's check to see if the name actually got changed. So we'll go back to local server. And it took the name, so we are good to go. So the next thing we're going to need to do is change the IP address, or rather make a static IP for this. Normally things are on DHCP, and DHCP will automatically give out IP addresses. The problem is that those IP addresses may change every now and again, and you do not want your server IP address changing. So we can get there by going to the Ethernet on local server, and this is the equivalent of going to network settings on a normal PC. Just go to properties, and we will type in an IP address for this. Okay, so now let's install Active Directory. We're going to go to Add Roles and Features, click Next. We're going to use role-based. We're going to leave this default right here. So we're going to select Active Directory Domain Services. We'll click Add Features, and then Next. And then we'll select Next. And we can also select Restart the destination server automatically if required. And then we'll click Install. And this may take a bit. So we are now completed. Now you see that there's a flag up here, or a notification next to the flag, and it's going to want us to promote this server to a domain controller. We can click that right here. So I'll select Add a New Forest, and the domain name I'll just use stackwithzach.local. And now we'll create a password for the forest functional level. This is fine. Domain functional level, this is fine. Effectively, Windows Server 2016 is going to work the same as Windows Server 2022. At this point, you'll see a DNS warning. It's a delegation for this DNS server cannot be created because the authoritative parent zone cannot be found or does not run Windows DNS server. Basically, there's no DNS server yet, so you're just going to get a little warning, and that's okay. Just press OK. So we don't need to create a DNS delegation. We can just hit Next. For the NetBIOS domain name, we can just leave it as the domain that I created earlier, Stack with Zach. We can leave all these as default. And this is just a review. So now it says prerequisites need to be validated before Active Directory domain service is installed on this computer. Okay, cool. Now we can install it. And this will take a moment. And now it wants to restart the server. So click close, close, and we can just restart. All right, looks like we're done. Okay, so let's open up Active Directory. And now you see we have a domain. So let's create an organizational unit, or OU for short. We'll name it IT. And inside of this OU, we can create users. We can list our computer objects, create groups, share folders, and we can manage all of that within Active Directory. In the future, I'll create some videos on group policy, password policies, domains, file shares, and much more.